everyone. Welcome back to What's the Rate? I'm your host, Breon Lyons, and this is the show where we talk about the real and the raw of pursuing creative success as an NYC artist in your 20s. Today, I have producer, actress, director, multi-hyphenate, Sydney Lolita Cusic. Hello, Sydney.
Hey, Breon.
Welcome to the show, girl.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you, Queen.
Yes.
I'm excited to hear your story and for you to share all your gems and tidbits with everybody.
I'm a try girl.
Yeah, and we gonna do it, okay? So tell us about your story. Tell us your background and everything.
Yeah, so I am from Chicago originally. I moved to New York in 2017 for college, which is where we met, Breon and I, at NYU. And I always was like an artistic kid. Like I was that stereotypical theater kid who like as a tiny person was on the stairs doing shows for my parents. And my mother was a journalist and for most of her life. And then when she had children, she like always wanted to pursue the arts. But you know, she grew up in the 60s, was like not allowed to do that because her parents were like, you need a real job. So she had her own kid. She was like, I always want to have a puppet theater company. I always want to write plays. I've always been drawn to writing, so I want to start this part of my artistry. So I always had that as a part of like the model of what it is to be like an artist and a person. Like you don't have to just stick to one thing. You can always switch your dreams. Like this woman she was in her late 30s and her early 40s when she did this, and she was like switching up the game. And my dad is a pastor and a social worker, but also an artist. So he, growing up, has been in plays as well. Going to church alone is a performance, you know, growing up in that environment. So I was always around these like hardworking, artistic people. So when I came to New York in 2017 as like a little baby, which is crazy. We're so young when we move here for like college. I was already like in this hustle mentality. Like, I need to work, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I was in conservatory for acting school, so I was in classes 9 to 6 p.m. and then also picking up jobs on the side. Like, it was kind of crazy what I was doing when I first got here.
Yeah.
I started, like, a part of the Affinity group, which later being at Adler, which was a group for people of color at NYU. And so I was just doing all of these things. And I feel like now that I'm older and have refined all the things I do, I still am doing a million things, but I'm doing them with more intention, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I think it's beautiful to have one thing that you're super passionate about, and I think it's beautiful if you find that one thing and you just run with it, but I've been fortunate enough to be passionate about multiple things and have the privilege to do them at like a high level, which has been really sick.
Nice.
I don't know if that answered.
No, it does. And congratulations.
Thank you.
On, being able to carry out all of those things.
Yeah.
In a full and fulfilling capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's tricky to like give 100% to numerous things, especially while trying to survive.
Yeah, and it's been a learning curve. Like,
yeah, so talk to us about that.
Yeah.
Tell us about like work-life balance and how you balance all of that.
I think when I first moved here and I was doing a million things, the work-life balance was not super strong to the point where it got to like a level where I was trying to do so much that, like you were saying, I was not putting 100% into everything. And that's when I like really fully shifted and focused on acting for a while and just fully gave my heart and soul to that. And I think that was super important in a conservatory style to like have to sit down with myself and be like, wait, you are here. There's only like these 3 years of your life where you have the privilege to do this, where you don't necessarily need to work. You saved your money. You have parents who are fortunate enough to support you. Like, you're in school for a reason. So sit down for a second and focus on acting school. And so that's what I did. I had representation, like I have agencies, or had an agent, and I told them I'm not gonna like take auditions except in the summer. Like I fully locked into school. And I think that was super important for that period of time. And then when I left school, I was a COVID grad. So I was one of those, or it happened like mid my like junior year of school. So I was one of those kids where, okay, I was locking into this one thing and now it's not working for me anymore. Like, the virtual setting of being an actor was just not fulfilling. It was not teaching me a lot. I was not feeling satisfied as an artist. And I always had this side of me that was into directing, that was into writing. And so I wrote this pilot. It was like the height of Black Lives Matter. I was feeling really trapped also because I couldn't really go out and protest because my parents were older. I wanted to keep them safe, but I, wanted to be a part of it but couldn't be a part of it. So I wrote this pilot. And that kind of became my artistry, and that was the first thing I made as a filmmaker and a producer. And I got a team around me that was super, super supportive, who you've met. You've met my girl, Feline, who's my business partner. My roommate, CJ, who is an amazing production designer and director. And I just happened to have these people in my, like, close corners, and they were down for me. Like, I told them I wanted to do. We didn't really know how to do it because we were all acting students, but they were like, down and we made it happen, and we found amazing other artists to join in, and we made my first project. And from there, it was like people find out you do something well once, they keep asking you to do it. So a series of other projects started to unfold, and that's when I started to realize, okay, wait, there can be a balance to this when you have a team.
When you have a team.
When you're by yourself, it's a struggle, and like you have to, I turned my brain off and I had to focus on one thing and really lock in. But when you have a team around you, people who can like carry that extra weight, who can give you to be able to 100% be in this directing mode, but then also like take auditions, because you have someone who, when you're filming that audition, can be like, okay, Cindy, I'm gonna send the emails right now, or I'm gonna, schedule this thing for this location scout, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do that. The team aspect of it really changed the game for me. And since honestly 2021, everything I've done has been with a team. It's been centered in community. Like every project I do, every film I make, and I do a bunch of different things, y'all. Like when she said multi-hyphenate is not a joke. I do a million things in the city because you have to.
Yeah.
That's like what you got to do to survive here, but also there are things I like to do. So like I'm a voice coach. I'm a producer, I'm a director, I'm an actor. I currently just fell into this crazy world of production there's a cool theater in Harlem. And every single one of those things, I have such a sensational team that is like curated, that I trust, that I know is gonna work hard. And that's been like the big game changer.
Yeah. So I'm curious about, it seems like they kind of like were there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's your take on finding a community that rides for you and that community that you can trust?
Yeah. I've always been someone who's like, trust your gut, and that may sound corny, but I'm a huge believer in like what's in here will not lie to you and will not send you off. So when I meet people, like, yes, I got built in with that first community, those people I went to school with, those people I've been friends with forever, which is also, don't always work with your friends, because some friends ain't gonna ride for you. These friends just happen to be hardworking people who were like about it. So it worked out that way. But as I've gotten older and I've worked more, I founded Juniper Productions, which is the production company I share with Feline, and another business partner. She was someone who was not like built in. She was someone who we met while working. We're like, okay, you work hard, you hustle hard. And her energy that she brought to sets was something that aligned really well with the energy I like to bring to my sets. And my gut was like, this is the one. And that's how we got Val on the team. And now the three of us have a whole company together. But I guess it's not an exact science. I feel like it's really just feeling out who you work with well, and trusting that little thing in you that says, just because this person may be super well connected, just because this person may know all these people or have all this money, if your gut is telling you, I don't know if this work style is working for me, or I don't know if this is the person for me, don't pursue it. And it's really easy in this city especially. There's so many distractions. There's so many like glittery, glitzy things that are going to be thrown in front of you, especially being like a young woman in this city. There are so many rooms I've been in as a young woman where people have just tried to like get my attention and get my interest and get my time, and being a young Black woman and wanting to just take that from you. And sometimes you want to give it to them because it is like this person who works at maybe this big production company, or this person who has all this funding and wants to back in your film, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting, but like trust that thing in you that's telling you this is not going to work for me, and have power in your no. That's one of the biggest things. I can't remember who told me this, but it was one of those things that was told to me young that I've been like holding on to. The power of your no is so important, and always saying yes is not the way to go, I don't think. I think there are certain things that you might have to say yes to check your ego, because there's some things I'm like, I don't want to do because, and I'm like, do I really not want to do it, or is it because my ego's in the way right now? And then that's something to navigate. It's something I've been consistently navigating. I feel like especially this past year, the ego part of my life, and what is ego and what is gut, and really trying to figure out the difference between those things. But when it comes to your community, your gut, it won't sway you wrong. Yeah. Yes, I met you.
Yeah, I love that. And that whole, just like the people trying to take, like, I don't know, it's like they see the light in your eyes and they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was like in my modeling bag, I met this man who, he was a photographer. He like was taking pictures of this party that I was at. And he was like, oh, are you a model? And I was like, yeah, I'm like in that right now. And he was like, okay, well, we're going to get you here, here, and here. And I know this agent, but like you have to pay her a $500 fee. Everybody knows you're not supposed to pay agents no $500 fee up
never
front.
pay.
So I was like, what's the website? could not find me a website. Sent me some pictures of her work, and their pictures taken on like a freaking Android. I'm like, bro, this is a whole scam. So I just stopped replying, and he's like, oh, we're gonna get you signed up for swim week. Like, you have to do swim week. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really one to do swimwear. At least this early on in my career, I'm not really comfortable with that yet. And he was like, why not? I have a whole bunch of girls who could do swimwear. I don't just need.
Okay.
I was like,
go be with them
that's
girls.
fine. Right. I'm not telling you. I'm not. Why are you getting defensive? Like, you know?
And your gut.
And your gut.
Run away.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, so.
These people be creepy. These people
They're
are
crazy.
And they will try to find you and they will try to get you. Like they will, like you said, they see this thing in you, especially if you're a passionate person. I feel like especially if you're someone who does lead with light, and not to be like, I lead with light, but I try my best to lead with like openness. And people take that openness for granted. Yeah. Like people, I think that's why people always approach me on the street. Like I be minding my own business. Like even on my way here to come see you. Got my AirPods in. Dude, excuse me, ma'am.
I know.
How you doing? Like, why are you coming to me? I don't want to talk to you. And like, again, to check my ego, there are some times where I'm like, okay, Sydney, like, why are you being down to this person? It's just because they're in your way. And just because someone is in your way does not mean you have to be rude to them. Like, your way is your way, but they're also on their own way. And maybe someone where y'all are bumping. But also, leave me alone. Yeah. Like, leave me alone. Anyway, I forgot how we got here.
No, yeah, but I feel you though. I feel like we both really resonate with that, which is what I really appreciate about our friendship. You know what I mean? Like leading with light and like just wanting the best for everybody. We're just trying to make it, you know, and do it with love. That's all.
That's all you can do at the end of the day.
So, tell us about a moment where you had to figure it out on your own, a moment of like making it happen, where you were like, damn, I don't really have all the answers, but I don't really have resources or like, you know what I mean? So tell us about a moment you had that was like that.
I'm trying to think of like a specific moment because I feel like as a producer, it's every project.
Right.
You learn a lot, but then you are consistently met with like, recently I did this project in Chicago, which is where I'm from. With this amazing director, Kiera Loren, obviously with the Juniper team, and then Booker Vance, who is I co-wrote the film with Booker.
Booker Vance! I worked with him before.
Really?
Yeah, I photographed him for a film with Callie Holly.
Really?
Yeah.
This world's, being black in New York City and an artist.
Yeah.
The world's this small. Booker and I have been friends he's engaged to one of my best friends, Kiera.
Oh, wow. Okay,
And I've been friends with them forever, and they're dope and amazing, great artists. But we shot this project in Chicago, and a lot of the work I do is based out of New York. So like, first of all, it's going to a new city and like trying to figure out how even to get stuff done. And then we had a camera rig on a car that we had to figure out. So we had like a picture car that needed to be pulled down the street, which then also included us having to find a street closure. So finding a street in Chicago that you could close a full street, because they're all like these things I learned at the moment. If there's an alleyway there, you can't close the street. If it's a two-way street, it's more difficult. It's like all these things. And so I was literally like calling the city constantly, like literally just Googling. And you know what? I'm gonna say this quietly. ChatGPT be coming through in those moments, because I'm like, hey, how do you do this? And they give you a number and you call the number. It's little moments like that. But yeah, I was just like using the internet and calling the city constantly and talking to this person, to this person, to this person, and this person, this person, this person. And that's just like one specific producing example. But in general, I feel like every time you're on a set, especially like as a younger producer, I mean, I've been doing this now for 5 years, which is also insane when I think about it. Like, I'm a younger producer, but then I'm like, wait a minute, it's been a minute now. But every set I go on, there's usually something that happens that I've never dealt with before. And it gets easier because now there are other things I've dealt with before that have happened. So like that cushions that new thing, but it's just figuring it out. I don't even know how to answer. It's just you just do it.
You just do it.
And that's all you can do. It's just like buckle in, and because people are looking to you, and people are looking to you to figure it out, and people are expecting you to come with experience and answers, and you kind of just like you do. And that's kind of all I do. Even this job I just got as a stage manager, I'm not a stage manager, guys. I am now. But, like, it was like I've really only ASM'd and, like, I've been stage management support But I never, the scale at which I was stage managing at this theater was something I'd never done before. And they had some big names in it. Like we had Pauletta Washington in it. We had Russell Hornsby in it. We had Lisa Arundel, like these like people I grew up watching and like icons in the industry. And I had to buckle in and figure it out. And I did. Yeah. And now they've asked me to come back every week, and I've been up there now. And so it's one of them.
Nice.
One of them.
Nice, Sydney.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that. So I remember you saying that as soon as you moved here to New York from Chicago, you kind of were in the mindset of hustle.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So tell me about that. Tell me what that hustle was for you. You said you were working numerous jobs as well. So what were those jobs?
Girl, it was so stupid when I look back on it. I'm like 17 years old, new to the city. I was walking dogs.
Okay.
I was babysitting.
Mm-hmm.
I was working as a house manager at Adler.
Mm-hmm.
I was also in class 9 to 6. I was teaching kids science.
Wait, what?
Acting major, artist, was teaching children science in this like camp. It was called Mad Science.
I love it.
Shout out to Mad Science. So I was doing like all these things. I was also in a long distance relationship at the time. And so I was trying to also like sustain that, which is not work, but it felt, it was just a whole other aspect.
It's draining.
And it was all these things where I was like, now that I'm older, I reflect on that time. I'm like, what the hell were you doing? And sometimes you have to do it. You got to get through it to figure out that's not what you should be doing. But I do think that period of time adjusted how I view hustle and what hustle looks like to me, because hustle is not working a million jobs just to get a dime. Hustle is not stretching yourself thin and praying something like doesn't fall through the cracks like that. And that's what hustle was at the time for me. It was like, I'm so tired, but like I'm hustling. I'm in New York. Like this is what I'm doing. And now that I'm like past that period of time, hustle is, yes, it's working hard. And yes, it's sometimes not having balance, right? Yes, sometimes hustle is I'm juggling a million things and I'm trying to keep all the balls up. But you should not be broken when you're hustling. Like, hustle should not be you feeling at the end of your day like you have nothing left to give to yourself or to others. And I think when you're truly hustling, it is like, like I told you when I first sat down, it is going to Harlem when you live in Brooklyn and taking that hour train ride. But when you enter the space you're hustling in, it's still giving you something back. You're finding ways to still be filled up. And I get there are periods of time when you don't have the privilege to be working in a space that fuels you. Like, there have been many times where I've worked those restaurant jobs where I've done the babysitting and I've, done the long hours where I'm feeling like so tired and just like exhausted. But even when I'm in those periods of time, I still try to find ways to in that hustle, find a way to fuel myself. So when I was constantly working the restaurant job, I was like, okay, let me fully focus on Juniper right now as well and like try to build up my company, because that's something that I have the brain space for, and it's going to make this hustle feel worth it. I guess is what, like, you got to find ways to make the hustle feel worth it. You shouldn't be hustling and then at the end of the day being broken. And I have been broken at the end of the day. Like, it's not an exact science, especially living in New York City where there's so many things that drain you. And it's literally a city where walking is a form of transportation. Like, everything you do is like a means to an end. So so much grace for people who are still feeling broken. Not saying you should not be broken at the end of the day. But what you should try to do is when you're clocking that brokenness, be like, okay, wait a minute. That's not the point of all this. Like, if I'm hustling so hard and not feeling benefits at the end of the day, then what's the point? So yeah, that's something I try to do even when I'm still a hustler. Like, whenever I call my mother, she's like, damn, you got another job? When'd you get this job?
Yeah, no, literally.
I'm like, yeah, girl.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's so funny. That was literally like my extended family when I told my grandma. I was like, yeah, I'm a state registered baby nurse.
Yes.
She was like, Brian, what the hell are you doing? Aren't you an actress? Yeah, but I'm trying to survive in New York City. Okay?
Yes.
So I definitely feel you on that.
Yeah, and I also got like more, I remember I used to feel kind of shameful about the stuff I would do that was not an actor. And like, I feel shameful about, working the service job, and I feel shame, and I didn't want to tell people, or I would try to hide it. And I think I feel like it's this idea that if I'm not doing the thing I said I was doing, then people are like, oh, you're not making it. And this idea of how other people then perceive you. And now I'm like, who cares? Like, that's another moment of ego checking. Like, why am I caring when I know in my heart what I'm doing is getting me where I need to be? I am following the path that God or whatever y'all believe in laid out for you. So, like, who cares what people think? And I've gotten a lot more comfortable at telling people, yeah, I work at this restaurant 3 days a week, but I'm also doing this. Or when I'm stage managing right now, like, I'm in this beautiful place. Or I'm like, the things that add to my artistry, I no longer look at them as hindrances to something bigger. I look at them as like steps in the journey to wherever I'm supposed to go. The woman I'm working with right now who runs Harlem Stage, we had this like picnic talk, and she was saying that, and she's a very successful, like, dope ass Black woman, like, just like smart, amazing, has run billion-dollar theaters, you know, just like a really amazing, inspiring person to me. And she was like, I've never really planned to be anywhere. Like, I've never really been like, okay, this is my goal. It's my goal to run this theater. It's my goal to do this. I just keep walking and listening and receiving what's being brought to me, and doors just keep opening. Doors just keep opening. And she said this other thing that also stuck with me: when you strive for excellence, diversity shows up, which is kind of off the trail of what we're saying, but it's just that same idea, I feel like, of you shouldn't be striving for like this big goal at the end of the day. Like, yes, you should have like things that you want to achieve, but it shouldn't be like, if I'm not like doing this acting job at 25 with my, you know, career, then I'm a failure. No, like, just keep walking your path, because you're being guided by something, and doors will open if you just trust that. And when you try to push against that, that's when the doors start closing, because you're missing the doors that the doors are open for you, because you're paying attention to this closed door. And when you're banging on a closed door, you could be in a nice air conditioned room, chilling, having a nice mocktail or some shit. I don't know what I'm saying.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you. I hear you. It's God's timing.
Yes.
And even if you're not spiritual, we are on this show.
Yes.
But we believe in God here.
Yes.
But for my secular viewers,
yes.
Trusting your timing and just trusting your path. That's ultimately what we're saying, in the sense of just like, once you force it, it's like, how could you expect yourself to be satisfied? You know what I mean? When there's just so much grudge, and the energy is just so stagnant and tight.
Yes.
And you have to let things flow.
Yeah.
You know?
have to.
Yeah.
And like when I first came here, but when I first came here and was here, it was the first time in my life I was around, not to go into faith.
Listen.
But, you know, talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
It was the first time in my life I was not really like in an environment where I was surrounded by a lot of people of faith. And there's nothing wrong with that, because a lot of my best friends and people I'm close with now are not like necessarily like Christians or, you know, whatever. But when I first came here, it was the first time in my life I was not around that. And it was a time where like I tried to fit in, you know, and there were certain, you know, I adjusted the way I talked about things. I talked about God less. I tweaked myself a little bit to try to want to be a part of this thing. And especially if like being in acting school, where people do have a lot of trauma also associated with faith and with God, and a lot of rightful trauma associated with those things. And also as a queer person who has seen that side of what is associated with that, it was something I tried to make smaller in myself. I tried to hide in myself. I didn't want to be as big of a deal. Like, even me having a pastor dad, I remember qualifying it to people and being like, but he's a cool pastor. Like, no, my dad is a dope pastor. My dad is so open. My dad like has taught me how to love and how to love all faiths, and like has encouraged me to read other texts of religion, and it has encouraged me to do all these things. But I found myself doing these little things, and that was a period of time where I felt drained, and that was a period of time where I felt like I was banging on doors that were closed, to go back to that metaphor. And when I started to again be more open with who I was, and trust who I am, and trust God, and started to be more open on that path again, then I felt like things changed for me, and things just started to flow more openly. And that's when we start getting like the Away From Home, which was the project I did in COVID. That's when I started, you know, doing world premieres of theater and traveling the country as an actor. And like, then all of a sudden things start to open again when I didn't try to hide myself. And it's not necessarily saying it has to be, mine is about like my relationship with God. I was trying to hide that part of me, but it could be anything you're trying to hide in yourself to try to fit in, or to try to look cool, or to try to like not be looked down upon by what others view or whatever. But once you just are open, is I guess the main point I'm trying to make. When you're open and honest with yourself, things will come the way they're supposed to come. So shout out to God.
What was the experience, person, or project that got you to a steady spot in your career?
Oh, steady. I feel like my steady spot is always so interesting because I'm like, what is steady? Even right now, sometimes I feel steady and I'm like, am I steady? Like, what's going on? I think there are different periods of steadiness for me.
Or could we trade out the word steady for like consistent?
Yeah, maybe consistent.
Or like a rhythm?
Yeah, like I like that, like a rhythm. I think I got very fortunate when I first graduated. Or I guess not when I first graduated, because when I first graduated was COVID. But a year later, when the world kind of started to open again, I booked a series of jobs in the regional theater scene. One was a world premiere. One was a big play that just moved regionally. And then I booked like my first feature film. And I booked all these acting jobs. And the acting job I booked in the world premiere was in Arkansas. It was like this small theater in Arkansas called Theater Squared. But it was this dope black play by this playwright named Candace Jones called Flex. And it was really fortunate to just be in a space that was all black women led, fresh out of school and like doing that. But that play set me up, I feel like, for my world in New York. And I did that show, and some woman who just happened to be there for a short play festival saw Flex and then was doing something in New York and hit me up because she saw me in Flex and then put me on to this thing that National Black Theater was doing in New York. So then later that summer I did that here. And when I did that, I was in a room surrounded by, again, a bunch of amazing black women who were like greats in the industry. Like I was, I think, one of the youngest people in that room. But I was like, whoa, like where am I? And when I did that, I then met a bunch of people. And from the people I met there, I then did some more theater stuff. And then to the point where to this day, the jobs that I'm now booking and like rolling down the line, I feel like all go back to that world premiere I did, because that just like put me as a face to just something that people, a face that people started to want to know and want to work with. So I think that was one moment as an actor that set me up really well. And then as a producer and a director, I really genuinely feel like it all goes back to Away From Home, just because that was the first thing I did. And it was not perfect. It was not, it was probably way too long, a little indulgent, because, actors, when they write their own shit, it's like, I've learned a lot since then. But that was kind of like the first thing I did that showed me I can do it, and that I can like do something I've never done before and do it well. And I remember leaving that set, and people who were film people and like had worked on a bunch of sets were like, wow, this is one of the best sets I've ever been on. And we were like, wait a minute, we've never done this before. Okay. And it kind of gave me the courage and the bravery to keep doing it. So I think those two experiences set me up steadily in terms of work and things like that. And that was also a period of time where everyone wanted to have a black woman producer, because it was like 2020 and everyone was like diversity, which y'all should still be like, but it's another conversation. But that also, people were then like, I met this black, I got so many people who hit me up, they're like, I'm looking for a black woman producer. And I'm like, I guess that's now what I'm titled as, a black woman producer. That's now added to my list of things I do, I guess. But it did set me up to keep working and keep working and keep working. And then there have been other little things that I don't know, I've been in the right rooms at the right time. I've met the right people. And I've been fortunate enough that people just want to keep working with me. So,
yeah.
Rhythm.
With good energy and faith and God.
And faith in God.
And faith in God. And faith in God. I love it. I love it. I love it. What's the toll to cross the bridge between where you are and where you're going?
Oof. The toll. I think I've talked about it kind of like abstractly a few times now, but I think it's being true to yourself. And sometimes when you're true to yourself, you lose people because of that. And if someone doesn't want to stand by you when you're you, then they're not supposed to be by you because they don't know you. So sometimes you lose folk, which is a part of the game. And I think because for a long time, because I'm such a like, I want to be friends and like lead with light, it would hurt me a lot to lose people. And it would really, and it still hurts to lose people. Like, not saying it doesn't hurt anymore, but I think I would sometimes fight for things that I knew weren't right, because I was like, I don't want to lose this friend, but not necessarily because I wanted them to be my friend, but because of like history or thinking that it's bad to not be, like, it makes you a bad person to transition out of something. But it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you a growing person. Makes you someone who's changing. Like, we're not the same people. So that's a toll sometimes, to just transition folk out of your life. I think another toll is sleep. I've lost, and not, you should still sleep, but I've lost so much sleep trying to, like, just keep hustling and keep moving. And that's I think a balance thing that I still am working on too. When I talk about that hustle balance, that's one that I still need to get to refine a bit, finding more time for physical rest. I do a lot of mental rest, like I breathe and I meditate and I this, I that, but like actually like sleeping is something I need to work on. Stay true to you. And that goes back to, sometimes you lose friends, sometimes your dreams change. Don't hold on to dreams that are not relevant to you anymore. That's something that I've also had to be like, okay, this thing I thought I really wanted to do, I actually don't anymore, and the only reason I'm still pursuing it is because I said I would do it when I was like 10.
Yeah, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
You know, I heard this thing where they were like, this man, it was a video, and he was saying, don't get mad at yourself for the dreams that you had when you were younger, because that 10-year-old did not know what it would take in order to get there. So now that you're going through it and you're trying to pursue it, going through the trials and tribulations, you're like, oh, this is what it comes with. Do I really want this, or can I really do this?
Come on.
And you're not failing your inner child if you pivot.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
So.
And that's it seems like toll, but like pivoting, just pivot. And that's okay. And don't hold too tightly to stuff that doesn't serve you anymore.
Yeah. What was a no that you were given that you didn't know that you needed?
Oh, I remember reading that one when you sent me these. And that one, honestly, I've been thinking a lot about that one. And I think, I mean, on the acting tip, you get told no constantly because it's just a part of the gig. No is just, you audition for something. No. You do no's. No. So there have been a few acting no's I've gotten where I'm like, oh, I was really excited about some things, and I got the no, and I was like, oh, something happened later that summer or later that year where I was like, oh, that's why I got that no, because I'm supposed to be here right now. I'm trying to think, like I told you, I've been thinking about this question. I'm trying to think of like another no, but I feel like my life is built around no's because of what we do. No is just like an inherent part of what we do. I did audition for a project that I was really, really excited about. And it was a show I'd done before. And I knew the team, and it was something I was like, oh, this would be so, so cool to do.
What was the show?
It was the show I did the world premiere for. It was Flex.
Oh, okay.
So I did the world premiere of Flex, and then it went to Lincoln Center.
Oh, okay.
2 summers ago now. And I auditioned for it. I was really excited about it. I knew a lot of the team. It was a new director, but like I knew like the playwright intimately because obviously I did the world premiere. A lot of my homegirls who were in the OG cast with me also auditioned. And I got really far in the audition. Like it was a long audition process as well. Like I think I started auditioning in like January or something. No, December or something is when like I sent the first tape in. And then I didn't find out if I got it until damn near before they started rehearsals. It was like May. It was really late. Wow. And I was really disappointed about that one because it was just something that was so dear to me because I had done the world premiere, and because I took time to build that character. And this is another ego moment. I felt like ownership a bit over it because I was like, oh, I was there, and like I was like, not that it was owed to me, but like to be transparent, like it was like I thought in my head at the time, like I did this, so I should do it again, duh, and I didn't get it, and I was really sad about it. And when I sat down and like checked my ego, because then I saw the show later and it was beautiful, and like the people who were supposed to be in that show were supposed to be in that show, and they did the work they were supposed to do, and it was great. But it was a big ego check moment for me of like, sometimes you really, really want something and you really think you're owed something. And that one was a more personal no, because you submit tapes all the time or you get a call back and it's like, no. But that one I really felt this like, it's mine. And that summer for me ended up being one of the best, most personal growth summers I ever had. And if I had been in rehearsals for like basically an off-Broadway show, I wouldn't have had that. And it wasn't a work summer. Like it wasn't a summer where I was like working, and like another big job popped up and it was great. It was honestly, work-wise, a pretty dry summer. Like, it was a summer where I was not booking. I was not really producing anything. I was babysitting basically all summer, and I was working at a restaurant on the weekends. But I was doing so much in the city as a human being, and it fueled me. It was such a good summer. I traveled. I went home. I spent time with my girls. I was in the streets, and I hadn't been in the streets, okay? Listen, I was a COVID grad, so that was my first summer where I was like a young person in New York City. Yeah. And I never had that because, like, 2019, the summer before that, I was underage, and I never had a great summer. 2019, that was a great summer. But, like, I had never been a grown woman in New York. Yeah. And, like, not working. Like, and the type of jobs I was doing gave me the flexibility to be a little more carefree because I didn't have to, like, I could get drunk till 6 a.m. and ride the train back because I didn't have to be on set the next day. I didn't have to make sure my body was, like, you know, the way you have to take care of yourself when you are a performer, when you are doing these things. There's a level of, like, care you have to have for your body. And I was able to kind of throw that care out of the window a bit and just be a young person. And I think that summer was so important to me because, like I was saying to you, when I first moved here, I was doing a bunch of jobs. And then I was in conservatory and I was in school. And then the pandemic hit. And then when we were kind of getting the world back, I was working all year, which was beautiful. And I was doing all these theater jobs. And I was leaving and I was here and I was gone. But that was the first summer where I was actually just, like, vibing. Yeah. And it's funny because in the moment, I don't think I realized the impact of that summer on me. But by the end of it, I was like, wow, like, that was great. And so, like, that no, though, was really hurtful. And it was, like, that was one of the hardest, I think, acting-related no's I've ever gotten because I was so excited about it. But it turned out to be the right no because I had such a good time. And when I tell you, it was not because of work. And that was also a big revelation for me. Like, my world does not have to be, that's kind of where I am now, where I started to, like, realize I don't have to necessarily do these things in the way I thought I had to do them. And that was a really freeing revelation. So, wow. And Flex was dope. Like, it was such a good play. Like, I can't say that enough. Like, I am so proud of Candrace. It was so good. It was amazing. And, yeah, it was what it was supposed to be.
I want to go back to what you were saying about shame, about having a day job. So with this entire show being about, like, balance and the grind and the process and things like that, just talk to us more about, like, I guess that moment of when you were like, you know what, I don't have to be resentful towards myself for surviving. I don't have to hide or, you know what I mean? And when you were able to be like, you know what, yeah, I do work at this restaurant, like you were saying before. So just talk to us a little bit more about that mental revelation or just that mental and emotional process for you.
Yeah, I think it was one of those moments where, and I wish it was something I just came to on my own, but it's when I was looking around at all the people around me who I also viewed as really successful, really talented, really hardworking, and we were all, like, not doing the thing that we went to school for it during the same period of time. We were all working at these restaurants or, you know, doing this retail job or babysitting. Like, it was a period, I was looking around me and I was like, everyone is kind of in the same boat. And there's no way everyone is untalented and bad. And, you know, like it's just like, that doesn't make sense to me. And I was getting messages from people who have been on, like, big network television shows, or been on Broadway, or who have done the things that when you dream as a little kid, like, they had done those things and they too were, like, back at their day jobs. And I was like, oh, so there's not a science to this. Oh, so there's nothing to be ashamed of because we all have been there. And then, like, it's corny, but then you watch the, like, Viola Davises and the Denzels talk about those times when they also were there. And, like, I'm like, this is freaking normal. Like, it's a part of it. I think it's sometimes harder talking to non-actors and non-artists and telling them you're working at a restaurant when they're like, but you went to school for this. Like, I think that's sometimes more, like, a more difficult thing to say. But even in those moments, it's like, why am I being ashamed of making a living? Yeah. Why am I being ashamed of having a job that can put food in my belly, keep lights over my head, and allow me to do things and have good experiences. Like, why am I ashamed of that? Because it's not the thing like I went to school for. I'm still pursuing that. This career is not an exact science. You know what I mean? Like, there was a strike that took out even the big boys not that long ago. And like everyone was doing stuff that was like not what we should be doing. And then like, what should we be doing? Exactly. Like, what does that even mean? Yeah. But yeah, that like made like the brain space click of like, what should I be doing? What I should be doing is being Black and eventually dying. And everything in between should hopefully be benefiting to my life. And working at the restaurant is benefiting to my life because it's paying my bills. And so that's when the shame started to kind of fall apart a bit, where it's like, who cares? I don't know, who cares? And going back to ego, I keep talking about ego, but when you check your ego, like when you really check your ego, it's like, the reason I don't want to tell you I work at this restaurant has nothing to do with anything but me. It's my ego getting in the way. Like, the reason I'm embarrassed about babysitting has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me. Yeah. And so checking yourself is like freeing, because then once you check yourself, you realize, who cares? Like, who cares? I know I keep saying this, but who cares? Who cares? You're paying your bills, you're living your life. So that was something that was really helpful for me. And we really look at everyone around you. Everyone has done it.
Yeah. I remember Kerry Washington talking about it. I forgot what movie it was she said, but she was like, yeah, after that, like, did the movies and everything and showed in the, you know, the theaters and stuff, I went back to busting tables. And I was like, whoa, Kerry Washington.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these greats that we look up to have also done it. And don't get me wrong, I do think this is more of like an industry problem, like that we don't have more, you know, more fail-safes built in for artists, and that's a whole other conversation. But it's not a us problem, because if you're working hard, and ain't no one can tell you how you should hustle or how you shouldn't hustle, and what you should or shouldn't do with your time. And if that restaurant job is starting to drain you and break your heart, find something else. And it's not always easy to find something else, but like, you know, start working towards finding something else. Do something else to fuel you. But if it's like paying your bills and you're with good people and you're enjoying the place you work, why be ashamed of that? People who are making $100 million a year sometimes don't have that. They walk into their workplace and hate it. So, yeah, shame's overrated.
Yeah. What are the resources you currently seek in order to calibrate your career at this point?
That's a good question. I'm deep in my hey, you want to take a meeting bag? Like, I'm like hitting people up, like, you want to get coffee? Let me treat you to coffee. I'm doing a lot of that right now, which is something that sometimes I have to like take a break from, because not because people suck, just because like it like just requires a certain level of presence to meet new people. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of that, where I just want to meet folk, and not necessarily, it doesn't have to result in anything. Like, it just result in like, okay, what up, homie? Cool. But just trying to meet as many people as possible to expand that network and continue to like get my name out there and get my company's name out there. Hire Jennifer Productions. Casting Lolita Cusic.
All right. Let's get into that rapid fire. I should have that. Okay, well, instead of revealing your rate, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but instead of revealing the rate, you're going to rate these rapid fire topics from 1 through 10.
Yes.
So, work for exposure.
8.
You already said this one a little bit, but always say yes.
1.
Contracts.
10.
10.
10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah, they know on this show we are big on 10s. Contracts. We don't play about no contracts on what's the rate at all.
10s across the board.
Yes. Fake it till you make it.
10.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, sorry, okay. I'm saying that like 8.5, because fake it till you make it, yes, but also have humility. Sorry, that was a caveat.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Work your way up.
I think 10. What does work your way up mean? Like just like keep working? I don't know.
Well, like going from like intern or like shadowing to like literally working your way up.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say more. I know it's rapid fire, but I want to hear.
And why. I'm like, I think 5, because I think I'm like split on either end. I think with some career paths, you have to work your way up. Like, I have a friend who wants to eventually run a network, and she started as an executive assistant, and she's like literally like working her way up, because that's kind of like the way the career path is built for you. I think there are other career paths where, like, as a producer, I never interned, and that was never something that was a part of my journey. Not saying there's nothing wrong with that, but I kind of just kept working on the job and figuring it out. I also have a friend who's a producer who interned at a big company and then and now works at the big company. So that's why I said 5, not because it's good or bad, but just because I think your path is different. And like whatever path like you follow, some people work their way up, some people work their way down to back up. Like the people who graduate and book the big giant movie franchise and then don't work for 5 years, and then, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the thing is just like levels.
Yeah. I know people who just got the job.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I was talking to this one producer. He was like, yeah, I work for so-and-so, and I just...
Exactly.
I just got it. Low-key, I did kind of just get the job, too.
Same.
So
that's like 5, because, like, it's okay to work your way up, and I think there's nothing wrong with working your way up. I think it's, like, smart, too.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly more consistent sometimes than just getting the job. But also, sometimes you just are that girl.
All right, and then the last one, cold emailing.
5. I think cold emailing, it's just, like, hit or miss. Like, you have to be strategic in how you cold email, where, like, you're not just cold emailing someone because it's, like, you're an agent. Like, I want you to, like, look at my portfolio. You cold email someone like, hey, I saw on your roster you have 2 other actresses who look like me. For when they're booking the bigger jobs, I know there are smaller jobs that come through. Here's my resume. Here's my headshot. What do you think? Here's my reel. Or, you know, hey, like, I saw your company has done this, 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 and this. As a producer, I work in this, this, and this field. You do your LinkedIn research. You find those connections. I know this person who knows this person. I would love for you to check out, or I'd love to take a meeting. You know what I mean? So you're cold emailing with, I feel like a lot of people think cold emailing is just like, here's my resume. I do this for a living. I went to this school, blah, blah, blah. No one's going to respond to that. People probably get a million cold emails like that. You got to find something that makes, like, that, and this goes to the development work I do, what's going to make them interested. You know, we're emailing people because we see they're on the board at the Philharmonic and we see they have donated to this, this, and this. So we're like, oh, you do, connect. So that's why 5.
Okay. That was game just now. No, it was. All right, Sydney. Do you have anything else for us today?
Thanks for listening to me yap. Thanks, Breon, for bringing me here. Breon is a great example of a connection that we just were like, DM'd each other, like, do you want to get a drink sometime? You want to hang out sometime? And now we're friends.
Yeah.
And we also respect each other as artists and collaborators. So,
well, thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of What's the Rate? And we will see you on the next episode.